Mm. I just figured out there's a 10-second delay. Hey everybody, I'm Absird. Welcome to Chatting with Abby. Man, I was been doing a lot of thinking. I have a lot of experiences that I'm currently, like as I'm talking to you, trying to organize. I finally have like a Wednesday off. It's like, oh my God, there's a Wednesday. There's so much events that occur on a Wednesday that are relevant to my life. I get to watch my brother's podcast. I caught the tail end of it Monday, but I'm gonna be prepared today, and then hopefully I get to sing today in front of like I get to perform today instead of just singing. I get to perform today. Hopefully, that'll be dope if I'm able to do that. Well, I guess it'll be at Poetic Soul at a club downtown. In case anybody like watches this like actually today or watches it live. I don't know. Like yeah, people watch this live. People tune into me. I'm not used to it. But yeah, so today I'm gonna be at Poetic Soul club downtown. I think it's 710 East Roosevelt. I think. Whatever Google says for club downtown, that'll get you in the right spot. Uh, I wanted to finish up, or rather, build on to what the last conversation I had about manifesting, that we had about manifesting, where so manifesting is like it starts off in the imagination. Is that I imagine this thing, how do I acquire it in reality? But remember, reality and idealism are mutually exclusive. So they're their own separate entities. So manifesting is basically how do I take this thing that that I want in idealism and acquire it in reality. And an issue occurs because often people don't fully understand what it is they're manifesting. They simply understand what they want to manifest. Let's take a king, for example. If someone says, I want to manifest a king in my life. So, in their imagination, they imagine kings to have certain traits and qualities and characteristics. And in reality, kings do have certain traits and qualities and characteristics. Uh, when you look at as kings occur, kings make rules. They are the supreme authority, or supposed to be the supreme authority, or the image of supreme authority in whatever context they are performing in. So the king of a country would be the image of supreme authority. Uh, from the stories, kings receive their power from an entity they worship. So this king gets his power from this entity that is worshipped, and now normally the entity is an invisible entity, or one that can't be easily imagined. And then, boom! I am the physical manifestation of this entity. And then you continue to look at kings. So as the representation of that entity, the king absorbs the abilities of that entity, the, the ability to make rules and laws and regulations and edicts, the ability to make decisions and decide outcomes. Authority. The king is a representation of authority. And how do kings perform? Well, as a representation of authority, uh, the primary focus of that king is to continue to represent authority, and coincidentally, uh, everyone around the king is there to protect the king and to make the king's life more comfortable and easier. You know that you have your hand servants, your food servants, you know your taste tester, your entertainment, you know, to keep the king happy and stressed, your war council to give your king advice on how to proceed during the war, although the king makes the final decision. You have your concubines there to offer pleasure to the king when the queen is attending, doing whatever. I don't know. So then it comes to a relationship, and they want to manifest a king, and they get this man who is authoritative, who wants to be honored and worshipped and revered. You know, the king has holiday. When the king comes out, everyone stands at attention. Everyone, hail to the king. So this man comes out, wants to be hailed. No, speak to me. I had this seen someone describe this man and said, hey, I keep finding all these weird men. I'm like, well, what do you mean by weird? What's their behavior? Like, oh, they have girlfriends, they don't have their entire situation together and they're calling on me. And then later I read like, yeah, I'm just looking for my king. It's like, whoa. This is what a king is. This is not what you imagine to be a king. This is what a king is. This guy that you're calling a bum. This guy that you're calling abusive. This guy that you're calling authoritative and womanizing and sexist. These are what kings are made of. You're getting your wish. You're getting a king. It's like when I say I want a woman with alpha energy, I understand that what I want is a woman who is able to accomplish things herself. A woman who can exercise bravery, who can make decisions, who can utilize authority. I do also understand that that means a lot of times they may have had to, they may be used to others competing against them, and so they themselves may be used to competing because winning feels good. And when you're gifted with these abilities, when the way the numbers are ran for you, you simply outclass those around you, winning becomes easy. And in order to still get that same high from winning, sometimes people look for challenge, especially true alphas. I need to challenge myself. I need to do something that's not easy. I need something that's gonna challenge me. I want a challenge. I want competition. And competition joins hands with aggression and narcissism. So I understand that I'm going to be dealing with people who have to have a handle on their aggression and their narcissism. Man, this light is really hurting my eyes. Oh my goodness. Oh, I want to, oh, if it can face away from me and still have the same effect. Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh, that is just so much better. I'm sorry. Um, so I I function on the scale of autism, and because of that, oftentimes my body receives just a fuck ton of information, more than it may be able to, or I may be able to process. And so with the light, it's just this constant stream of intense information, and I was able to see it with my eyes closed. Sometimes when I see my skin peel, I don't know if it's because of a scar or if it's because I'm still growing, or if it's just dead skin. It might just be dead skin, you know. But is it like dead or is it growing? You know, am I gonna hit like 2.5? You know, maybe. Oh, who knows? But I understand what I'm getting myself into. Uh, I know how. I understand what may be affecting powerful women. Still my type though. Which is why the first requirement that I seek out is honesty. It, even when manifesting, I try to manifest utilizing honesty. Like that way I know exactly what it is that I'm summoning. What type of energy am I summoning? Uh, of course, from myself, it may be a little different as I claim to see spirits and energy. And honesty definitely helps in that regard as well. Like, what is this thing doing? Honesty being the individual will and effort to be in sync with truth and to be in sync and recognize truth and reality. Truth simply being what's consistent with reality. So, in essence, by looking for consistencies, I recognize patterns. And the way that I recognize patterns is by recognizing the overall framework. So it's I see the foundation and can understand the structure, but it's not the foundation itself. It's like, so when I say foundation, I don't mean bottom as in this is the bottom and things are being built up on top of it. I mean, this is the top of it and these are the things growing from it. So it's like a top down. It's like a tree, but I'm looking at the top of the tree and seeing the offspring. And instead of looking at the offspring and building toward the tree. Good morning, Cookie. How you doing today? Hey, Erin. No. Good morning. Hey, girl. How you doing? Good morning. Yes, it's good to see you today. Yes, it is. It is. Erin, why are you like this? I gave you your attention. Why do you need attention when I give it to her? I'll give you some more though. But we woke up together. All right, chill. So yeah, and so when seeing things that way, it's very important to use honesty because I was speaking to Monica the other day, and she was asking about how I see things. I was describing it as I see dominoes. Each action and event occurs is like a domino, and I stopped trying to see the future because even though I'm watching these dominoes fall, I don't know if it really has enough momentum to knock over the next domino. I don't know how strong the next domino is. I don't know if someone can pick up a couple pieces of a dominoes. I don't necessarily know about the other tracks that are coming this way either. I only can see like, for lack of better terms, very specific paths. It's just a lot of very specific paths. But I don't know, and because I'm looking at very specific paths, then of course I understand where they lead. Like, oh, I'm looking at this path, it leads here. So it's kind of like I'll use me as an example since I can use my experience, but I also try to speak from outside of my experience as well, so that there's a basis for comparison. So let's take me saying I want to manifest an alpha woman. Um, Boom, I have the end game. Now, in my mind, I have what I imagine an alpha to be. Uh, and then there's also how an alpha occurs. So when I want an alpha, I want someone who is a natural leader. Who, if they do have a crowd, the crowd tends to follow them instead of them following the crowd, instead of them following the trends and things like that. So I look for that, and outside of my experience, what that is, that person that doesn't follow the trend, uh, it can be someone who is used to attention and someone who becomes addicted to attention. That's one of the possible paths that can lead to an alpha, because well, they receive attention. It's It can also lead to someone who hides from attention, because an alpha who lacks confidence, or an alpha who has beta tendencies, can still have that alpha energy about them, but it's being wrapped up in all these beta tendencies, so they hide and try to run into their own inner story. But whenever they do have a bit of confidence to come out of their inner story and actively engage in reality, they instantly shoot to the lead, because that's what their natural abilities make them do. Like their natural selves cause them to surpass others' natural selves simply by the numbers. It's like if you're assigning characteristics like fucking Dungeons and Dragons, and you have your character sheet and you're rolling numbers. Some characters roll higher numbers. That's just how it works. Some characters roll low numbers. Well, this character rolled a bunch of 3s, and this character rolled a bunch of 18s. So this character wrote a bunch of 18s is going to perform significantly better and pass a lot more checks. This character that rolled the 3s can pass some of the checks if they roll high enough on the check, but they may need augmentations to surpass, like a +5 here, a +3 here. They need a lot more help to pass the check than the character who rolled 18. So it's like, because of their natural abilities, they naturally require less help in certain aspects of their lives. And other people who do require help, they tend to be able to provide that assistance because they can see and visualize a situation more than another. It's like, let's say we're both looking at the end game here. I'm trying to actually think of a scenario so that it's more relatable and less in tune with my imagination. Let's say we're gonna run a race, and we say, oh, we're gonna run to that tree. And because of my natural ability, I can simply observe more objects than you. It's like if you have an ant racing an elephant. The ant's going to see things from its perspective, and it's going to see, these tall blades of grass that it has to dodge and go around in order to reach that tree. It's going to see all these additional obstacles. The elephant, well, it can see some obstacles that the ant may not be able to see, and they might not be obstacles to the elephant. So the elephant's like, well, there's literally nothing in my way between me and this tree. I can go straight to the tree. And then when it looks down to check on the ant, because it doesn't want to step on the ant, in this race. So it's like, oh man, that rock is going to be a problem. That's a huge rock for this ant, and the ant, because of its perspective, can't see that rock yet. Hey, ant, there's going to be a rock in the way. You may want to start veering in this direction so that you don't hit in the center and take more time. And then boom, they run the race. The elephant needs a lot less help to win that race than the ant does, because of the ant's natural capabilities. It's just naturally disadvantaged. But disadvantage isn't really the right word to describe the situation, because it's simply how it is. Like, in the actual situation, the elephant and ant wouldn't be racing, because their abilities aren't necessarily comparable. An ant, they say an ant can lift 3,000 times its body weight. Well, because the elephant exists on a scale that exceeds the limits of that ant. Let's say an elephant can only lift half its body weight. That still exceeds the ability of this ant. Like, oh, this ant can lift 3,000 times, but 3,000 times what? What is the foundation? What is attempted to be multiplied? It's like if someone's manifesting an idea and they're manifesting it utilizing ideas. Ideas occur in their imagination. They're nothing. They have no physical presence. So they're attempting to manifest this thing with no physical presence. And so they're building up this thing with no physical presence. It's structurally weak. So this is actually a different conversation, but I'm trying to translate the principles correctly without actually leading into it, since I don't want to talk about that on this particular stream. But so how can I? Oh, okay. Someone wants a promotion at work because the promotion is exciting and they really want the promotion. So there are two people who want to receive this promotion. One person says, I'm going to focus on the work that I'm doing and increase the quality of my work. As the quality of my work increases, then the chance of me getting that promotion rise dramatically. Another person, B, says, well, I'm going to make it look like I'm doing a lot of work. And as these stories of how much work I do get around, the chance of my promotion increases. So both person A and person B can get a promotion. But when it's time for an inspection, person A's work is more solid. It has more substance to it. It's not just fluff. So, as the inspection comes, it's a nice solid material. Like, oh, look at this collection of work. Ah, yes, this promotion was well earned. Then they look at person B. Where's your work? I heard great things about you. I heard these fantastical stories about you. Where's the work? Where's the proof that's supposed to be going into this pudding? So, one promotion literally consists of more. Like, it literally consists of more effort than the other. I'm not saying which one is better. I'm literally just describing it what it is. One of these literally has more than the other, because one is made of ideas and imagination, and one is made of substance. That's the whole story. Wow, holy shit. That's the whole story. And that, oh my God, that's, as far as I'm aware of, how everything works. Is this thing made of substance, or is this thing made of stories? Things with substance, just based on the numbers, perform significantly better than things based on stories. Because the story is, well, it's not made on anything. It might be based on something, yeah. It might be based on something. But without building out that base, because remember, the way that I'm describing things is top down, right? So something built on substance is a structure, and as the roots grow and develop, the roots are solid roots. So as the structure grows and the roots grow, the roots support the structure. Something built out of imagination, you have the structure, and the roots are imaginary. So it has some imaginary roots and it has some real roots. Some roots in imagination, some roots in reality. If the roots in reality aren't strong enough to support the structure, it collapses. Especially when, well, half of its imagination. Maybe over half of its imagination. Most of its imagination. It's like, even if, okay, like just looking at the numbers, if you have two structures and one of them is 100% in reality, and one of them's 90% in reality and 10% imaginary, the one that's 100% in reality simply performs better. Even if you say 10% of the time it performs better, then 10% of the time it performs better. That's just the numbers. A lot of times when I look at a situation, I look at it through the numbers. Legit, that's how I try to manifest things, through the numbers, because the numbers require honesty. You have to be honest about what these numbers are. You can't, if you fudge the numbers, then you're imagining. Like, I know it looked like she showed me 9 red flags, but I'm going to disqualify 3 of them. So only 6 of those red flags count. That's not being very honest about what you can see. Now, there are some people who only see 6 red flags. And if I can see 9, I'm being dishonest if I agree that there's 6. I don't have to disagree. Because, well, if I'm saying 9, then it makes sense to me that someone says they see 6. Like, yeah, you say you see 6? I got you. I understand. Which 6 do you see? Which 6 do you see? Then I can describe the 3 that I see that you don't. Or something like that, Or sometimes, I'm saying, yeah, I see 9. And someone else says, I see 20. What? Hey, let me know which 20 you see. Describe them to me so that I can expand my abilities. I can continue to grow and have a structure, a solid structure. I want to grow with a solid structure. What's funny? So when I started this conversation, I was gonna start describing qualities and characteristics and stuff, but when I look at the numbers, I see those. Like, utilizing honesty means that a person has to practice bravery, because honesty says that yes, I'm scared to do this. Yes, I need to do this anyway. Boom. That's simple. Yes, I have to do this. Yes, I'm scared to do this. Both are true. And in order to bridge that gap, boom, bravery. So, when I say I'm looking for an honest person, I'm looking for a brave person. Honesty entails confidence, because you say, oh man, I don't know if I can do this. But I do know that I've done this many times before. You're looking at the numbers. I've done this before. I've ran these numbers before. Now, am I 100% sure that it's going to have the same result? No. I'm not 100% sure. There's very little that I'm 100% sure on. Like, I'm not 100% sure that I went to heaven. I'm not 100% sure that I see spirits. And to be clear, I see these things, but I'm just not 100% sure that this is what I'm seeing. It might be something different. You know, I might just be imagining this in the same way how a person saw a giraffe and they imagined, a Questi beef. They saw the giraffe and they imagined, oh, this is the head of a snake and the the body of a leopard and the tail of a lion. And it's like, oh. What was really funny to me is when we hear like fictional creatures, like I often wonder what they're based on. But that's another subject that's getting way out of pocket. All right. So to everyone who helped with this conversation, thank you. Even if you don't know it was you, I'm not gonna like call people out by name, and it's bits and pieces of different conversations, like one giant conversation that's being built on, getting pieces added to it, different perspectives being added to this conversation. And to the ones that are useful, the ones that like build out the conversation, not the ones that tear down the conversation. Thank you. Thank you for building out this conversation and helping at least me, helping at least me gain a better understanding of reality and how things actually are, versus how I tend to see and imagine things. Thank you. To those who have participated in the conversation, to those who haven't, I want to talk to you. We don't have to talk face to face. We can chat it up. You can share ideas and I can read them. I want to engage with you, I want to hear you taking your ideas and you taking my ideas, and we can hash it out, figure out what's consistent. Shit, if what you're saying is more consistent than what I'm saying, let me know. Let me fix that, I'm trying to grow. I know that I'm in a much better place than I was 3 years ago. In the same way that I know I got more in me. I want to see what else I got in me. What can I do? I've done some incredible, fantastical things. What can I do? I want to see what you got in you. What can you do? Run it. Shit, let me see. Hey, if you want to talk to me in person today, Poetic Soul. That's where you talk to me in person. I'm gonna post this on Instagram. You can find my Instagram at ABSIRD1. You can find me on Facebook, Absird Charles, ABSIRD, of course, CHARLES. Yeah. You can find me on Cashapp, Absird, ABSIRD. You can find me on Twitter, but that's I'm there. I see it. All right, Abby.